Tony D and Little Joan in the background, and this is a screenwriter's rant on Another End about a movie that takes place in a not too distant future where you can bring back your dead loved one in a clone body, but only for a short period of time and only once. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 18. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So I'm posting this video early. Hope you see it, because today I'm doing a live stream at noon. It's going to be another lunchtime live stream. I have a family thing later, family dinner. All right, Another End it's called. So this is a foreign film. The basic premise is this guy loses his wife or girlfriend in a car accident, but in the not too distant future, he can pay to bring her back in a clone body for a short period of time where he could finally say goodbye to her. It wouldn't really be her, it's like a clone with her memories. But of course, once is not enough. One day is not enough. He wants to keep her going, I guess. I'm not sure how the technology works. It doesn't get into that in the trailer, but there's some sort of limitation on it. I'm not sure what. Maybe he has to keep making clones and she has to keep dying again. I don't know. But the entire premise of the film seems a little shaky. Like, I get it. You're playing on this, really sadness that people have when they use a loved one. But the problem is, the preconceived notion that there's going to be some sort of limit. Like, oh, okay, she dies in a day. You have 24 hours. Yeah, that's pretty arbitrary. When you're talking about the technology of the future and a clone body or whatever. I get what you're trying to do, but it also seems very contrived. So here he is reliving part of his past, and it's all going to be about this character's past, trying to deal with loss, and it's partially metaphorical, and I get that, but what you really need is a better scientific premise in this. I mean, they have done stories in sci-fi where someone clones a loved one who died, and then it causes them all sorts of problems. So for instance, they begin to realize it's not the real person, that there are differences, or that the clone then just goes on with its life, and then maybe the relationship sours. So you bring back your dead wife only to find out, well, she wants to divorce you, kind of thing. There's all sorts of ways to do it, but and I get that it's a sci-fi thing. It's not, there is a suspension of disbelief here. I can suspend my disbelief for this concept, but at the same time, it does feel very contrived with that artificial timetable. Any kind of artificial timetable in your screenplay will often feel very, inorganic. And if you're just putting it in there just to move the story along, it's not something I would advise. You need an organic reason. So like in the classic example is a time bomb. If you have a reason for that time bomb to be there, sure. Maybe it's a terrorist attack. Maybe it's some sort of ransom thing or a bank robbery where they're going to force everybody to do stuff, or the bomb goes off or something like that. This is different because we now know a little bit about this process. Like, it's not common. They can't do it with humans yet, but they have done it with animals to an extent. So the question is, if you're going to take it to the next level, it's like, oh yeah, they can clone a human exactly like your wife, but she's a clone, but she has all the memories. Then why can't they just make another her? Like, why can't they literally just clone her, put in the memories, and hand her back to you? I mean, there's been stories like that. So I think it's a problem, at least for me as a sci-fi guy. But for the people who want to just see it for the romance end of it, I get it. It's probably not that big a deal. But first act, she dies. Second act, he brings her back. Third act, he's dealing with having to lose her again. So it's pretty straightforward. Um, would I watch it? No. It's too, to me, it's too derivative. The sci fi isn't there for me. And that would be the only reason I would be tuning in. I'm not interested in the romance. I would tolerate it for the sci fi angle, not the other way around. I think most people who are going to like this movie are going to tolerate it for the romance and ignore the sci fi. So, and that's fine. To each his own, whatever. But I think they could have gone about it a different way. But, when it comes to the future and predicting technology, it's a gamble, you know? It's a real gamble because once you kind of go down a certain path, um, it kind of taints the entire sort of path that you're going down. So, for instance, if you look at some of the older movies that were sci-fi and you see what path they were on, you look at it and you kind of laugh because you think, oh, we've got way better technology than that now. So a lot of times when Hollywood does do a future movie, it's not that far in the future because they still want, number one, the audience to connect with it, but number two, it's really difficult to predict, where this stuff is going. I was around before the internet and before smartphones. Nobody predicted that. Not back in, say, 85. Back in 85, we were still using pay phones and voice messages, machines, and stuff like that. The idea of having an entire computer in your pocket that you can make phone calls and do a bunch of other stuff with, yeah, a lot of people didn't see that coming. We saw part of it maybe, but not the way how sleek and small and amazing a lot of the smartphones are. I mean, literally, there's not a whole lot of reason for a PC anymore because these phones are so powerful. Everything you need in a PC is pretty much in your phone, except the comfort of having, say, for me, a keyboard and a bigger screen or whatever. But even that is being worked on even as we speak. They're working on technologies where you unfold your phone, you got a bigger screen, and on and on and on. So, and even that technology is, far out as it is, tomorrow they could invent something where it's all holographic and you put a chip in your brain and you see it, but it's not actually there. That would change the game, right? You would no longer have these little squares to carry around. The chip would be in your brain. You would just move your hands, or maybe you wouldn't even move your hands. You would just think, and the images would pop up, and the information you need would be instantaneous, or even directly into your cerebral cortex. Yeah, I don't want to live in that world, but I'd love to see it, but I don't think I would want the brain chip, Elon. So again, it's super, super tough to predict this. Super tough. So I'm not knocking the movie. I mean, they're trying it, but I think it leans more into the romance than it does the sci-fi. It looks that way to me. Anyhow, it's called Another End. It's getting some awards, so who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on the green site, the orange site, and the black site for more videos. And check me out today at noon for our lunchtime live stream because I'm going to dinner with the family and I got to get it done early. So it'll start at noon. It may end at 2 because there's another thing going on that I can't tell you about. And I may have to leave exactly at 2. So tune in to the live stream. Be there or be square. We'll see you in the next one.